It was a fun gathering. The grill was sizzling, my wife was laughing with the kids, and my brother and sister, who had just flown in, were relaxing by the fire pit with a beer in hand. The vibe was everything we needed. Family time. No politics, no tension, just the lake breeze, good food, and old memories. That was until she came. Maigret. Storming in from nowhere, red-faced, arms waving, yelling like she was delivering Judgment Day. "I warned you," she screamed. "You're testing me. I'll end you." My brother blinked, frozen mid-bite, whispering, "Wait, is this a skit?" Nope, this was real. Welcome to Prodigy Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch HOA drama. Now let's rewind a little. Before the yelling, before the invasion. You see, I live on a massive estate, the Adams Estate, named after my great-grandfather. This land is not just old, it's legacy. My great-granddad carved out this property back when the entire area was little more than wild brush and dirt roads. The lake, hand-dug and spring-fed. Generations have fished, swum, and partied here. Long before the polished homes, neighborhood watch signs, and the dreaded HOA even existed. And that's important because while I technically live within the neighborhood, my estate legally isn't part of the HOA. I've survived 3 HOA presidents, each of them civil, respectful, and honestly grateful. I've even let some of them host events at my lakeside. One had their wedding here. Another threw a family reunion barbecue. I never asked for anything. No rent, no drama, just respect. But then came Maigret. Maigret is different. She's not here to build community. She's here to rule it. When she took office, she brought out measuring tapes, noise meters, and a terrifying amount of clipboards. You'd think she was preparing for war. Still, I didn't think much of it. Until she started sniffing around my property line, asking questions no HOA president had ever asked me before. And today she marched in like a storm on 2 legs, but I wasn't going to give her the storm she wanted. Not yet. Before we dive in deeply, let us know in the comments where you're watching this story from. It started off weird and only got weirder. 2 weeks before the barbecue, Maigret showed up at my gate unannounced, clipboard in hand, smile faker than processed cheese. She tapped the buzzer and said, "Hi, I'm just doing a routine neighborhood inspection, getting to know the area better." I walked out and met her at the gate and calmly said, "This is private property. The Adams estate is not under HOA control. Always has been." She tilted her head like I'd just spoken ancient Greek and responded, "Oh, we'll see about that." Then turned and left like a Disney villain in Flats. The next week, envelopes started arriving, thick ones stamped with HOA letterheads. I opened one and nearly choked laughing. Notice of unauthorized aquatic use. Apparently, I now needed HOA approval to fish in my own lake. I assumed this was a clerical error or maybe a bad joke. I didn't even bother to respond. Why? Because 2 of their board members had literally held events on this land before. No permits, no complaints. One hosted her daughter's wedding, the other had a family reunion here. I even helped set up the tables. So when I got the 3rd notice threatening sanctions for unregulated lakeside activity, I forwarded it to Paul, an HOA board member I trusted. He called me right away, laughing, and said, "Don't mind her, she's just intense." But intense became invasive real fast. Maigret started walking around the perimeter of my property like she was surveying territory. I caught her trying to peek over my fence one morning with what looked like a drone controller in her hand. Still, I didn't react. My priority was the gathering. My brother and sister hadn't been home in years, and this place held all our childhood memories. We agreed to host it right here at the estate, where we ran barefoot as kids and learned to fish with Grandpa. The lake wasn't just water, it was legacy. So I set up a smoker, cleaned up the docks, and stocked the cooler. Nothing, and I mean nothing, was going to ruin this gathering, or so I thought. It was a barbecue party, and the vibes were unbeatable. We had laughter, ribs sizzling on the grill, and a cooler full of cold drinks. My brother was playing old-school tracks from a speaker, and my sister was filming the kids running around for her Instagram. The lake sparkled under the sunlight, the kind of day that makes all the stress melt away. My wife had just pulled out her famous coleslaw when we heard it. Banging. Loud, angry banging. It was coming from the inner gates that led to the lake. My heart dropped. Maigret. She was screaming something about permits and legal rights like she was the sheriff of the whole damn county. My brother whispered, Is this some kind of prank? And I shook my head slowly. Nope, that's Magret. My sister paused her filming, eyes wide, and muttered, "She's unhinged." Magret's voice was getting louder and more unhinged by the second as she rattled the gate like she was trying to break in. I warned you. You're testing me. I'll end you. The lake was on my property, my great-grandfather's land. Generations of memories here, and now this banshee in a pantsuit wanted to ruin all of that over a barbecue? I didn't say a single word. Instead, I called Paul, a long-standing member of the HOA board. My words were calm but sharp. I don't know why your HOA president is on my property, but if she doesn't leave in 5 minutes, I'll sue this entire board so hard even your grandchildren's field trips will need court approval. Paul didn't even argue. His sigh said it all. Apparently, this wasn't the first time Magret overstepped. I watched the gate, still silent, knowing something big was about to go down. Paul didn't wait. Less than 5 minutes after my call, I saw his white SUV peel into my long driveway like he was chasing a criminal. Behind him, 2 more cars pulled up, 3 HOA board members in total. They looked shaken, not from me, but clearly fed up with Magret's drama. I watched from the porch as they rushed toward the lake gates, where Magret was still rattling and screaming like she was trying to cast out demons. Paul yelled, "Magret, step back from the gate, now." She turned flustered and tried to save face. "He's violating HOA policy, barbecuing and fishing without permits." Paul looked at her like she had grown a third head. "This land is an HOA property. It never was. We've been over this, Magret. You're trespassing." She scoffed and tried to argue, but another board member stepped forward and pointed right at the Adams Estate sign by the lake. "This property predates the HOA. His family practically built half this neighborhood. You're making us all look like idiots." I stood with my arms folded, not even needing to raise my voice. Megret's face flushed from red to purple, and then something amazing happened. They escorted her out. Like full-on grabbed her by the arm, walked her off the property, escorted. My wife whispered, "I feel like I just watched HOA cops live." As they dragged her off, Paul turned back to me and mouthed, "I'm so sorry." I just nodded. The rest of the evening? Pure bliss. We popped open some drinks, grilled fresh lake fish, and blasted music till the sun dipped behind the trees. My sister even joked, "Well, this will make one hell of a story to tell our kids." The energy was light again, laughter echoed by the water, and the vibe snapped right back into joy. 2 days later, I got the official notice. Magret was impeached from her role as HOA president. The board apologized and said they'd be revisiting policy training. As for me, I didn't need an apology. I just needed my peace, and I got it. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Have you had a similar encounter with a Karen or anyone in the HOA board? Let us know in the comments.